Alright, how's it going, YouTube? So, this is after the crash, a little recap of the points race. So, we'll go through the points race at the end. I'm gonna go through the build. So, as y'all seen in the video, if you've seen the video, this car was completely demolished. Everything, it took the hit right here. Chassis is still good. But it took the hit right here. Battery came out, ESC came out. The transmission that I had up there, which was this Proline, completely snapped off the car. I lost the shock. There was a few things that was messed up. The wheelie bar is still broken right now. I tried to repair it, but I don't think that's gonna work. So I had a Proline trans, right? I think this plate is bent, so I didn't want to rebuild it. So I just went with a Integrity one I had lying around, just for now, anyway. It had the internals, everything is inside. It has a hot racing diff. I think it has like 500K in there, or 200, something like that. But transmission is a smooth transmission. So the front shock right now, I don't know if that happened during the crash, but it's leaking. Like one of the bladders, the O-rings inside came out, so all the oil came out. Not sure if that happened from the crash. I broke a servo, broke this plastic piece, but that's nothing. I did hook it back up. Everything is still working. The motor turns, the shaft is not bent, so that's good. I did mess up my sensor wire, so I just gotta put a new sensor wire up there. And it's basically pretty much starting over from scratch. So I broke I'm gonna show y'all that. I broke my rear shock tower. See how it comes out like that? So my shock would sit out and go up and down. I broke this side. So right now I just mounted it on the inner holes just to make it work. And I'm thinking that's probably what's messing with my rod height as well. But what I plan on doing, right? I plan on fixing this car up. I'm going to go over the rear shocks to drop the car lower because I don't like the way it's sitting. But my plan is I'm going to get this car ready, right, to test. If it doesn't do well in testing, I'm not going to focus on it no more because now what I want to do is I want to take this trans out, go with the DRC trans. That's the stand-up trans right here. Also, I want to go with a smaller rear shock tower. Benji has one, so I'm going to end up grabbing one of those that he has. But I want a smaller shock tower. I want to get rid of the buggy style shocks. I just want to go on-road or in all four corners. So I need a smaller shock tower that's longer, like same length as this, just smaller, so I can run my shocks up and down as well on this. And then there's a few things I want to get, but if it doesn't go well at testing, I'm just gonna go through this whole build all over again. So I lost the battery, so that right there had me down. But let me give y'all a little quick story, not to throw y'all off subject or anything. So during the day, something that happened, and Kevin stepped up and said, "I got it, Russ. Don't worry about it." And I said, "Damn, I wish I had friends like these." So after my crash, right, this whole car was in pieces. I had Josh come up to me and give me the Proline case. Right, I had Benji come up to me to give me the internal gears I lost. I just had a bunch of people coming up to me to get this car ready because I made it to the finals in the points race, but the car was demolished. I was not putting it back together. But they was pushing me to. That I told them I lost the battery. I don't even think I'm going to buy a battery this year for it to sit in the winter. Derek came over and said, "Hey, I have a brand new battery. You can have it." Like, I said, "No, I don't want it." It was a Trinity. I said, "I don't want that." He said, "You're going to take it." I wasn't arguing with that. So he came over a couple minutes later and said, "You know what? I have a better battery. You want a Max Amp one?" And I said, "It's up to you, bro." He came over with the Max Amp battery, and he gave it to me. Brand new battery. It's 2S6P. So shout out to Derek, man. Shout out. So that story was just to say that I do have friends like that. So thanks to everybody who tried to help me get the build back, to get it back running. I just wanted to get it on my table to just run through it. I knew if I threw it together right there and then, it would not be right. So, like I said, I'm gonna go through the front shocks. I'm gonna go through the rear. I'm gonna lower them. I'm gonna limit them to drop them lower. It's too high right now. Even though I have the reactions, which is a bigger tire than the Voodoos that I run, the car's still sitting a little bit high to me. But I'm gonna go through it, try a few things with it, and I'm gonna see if it works. I am gonna try to get this bully bar to work, but if not, I'm gonna have to get a new mount. So it's just trial and error. We're gonna see if we could get the car back to how it was. If I test it and I don't like the way it's going, I'm gonna just stop with the build. But now let me get to this. I'm sorry for the babble, y'all. So the points race is over. All right, I don't have the paper with me. I'm sorry about that, but I ended up becoming. I had 13 points. Josh had 12 or 11, I believe. And next up was Kevin, and then we got 2 tie for 4th and 5th, which is Alex and Charlie with 8 points. So we got our top 5 now. I'm trying to go to Florida, but the cars are not working with me. So right now, if I can get this car back to where it was and keep proceeding with it, then I'm definitely planning on going. Now, I do have the Bullet. We'll get to that. But I did some changes to that, so I need to test that as well. So I won't just go and try to enter a race that I know that my cars are not performing well, especially that it's 24 hours. If I drive there, it's about 24 hours. So I want to make sure that at least I can get down the track with a consistent car. I don't care if I go 2-0 all day. As long as the car's consistent and go down the track, then I don't want to be going out there to chase my tail with a car that I crashed. And then, so that's why I'm not trying to rush to rebuild. But anyway, let me get back to let's put the Bullet up here and get to that. All right, so this is the backup car basically. So the 2.5 to me was making noise. All right, why I didn't run this car Sunday is because when I first started testing the Tombstone chassis, I ended up crashing and breaking my servo. I said, you know what, I'm gonna take it out the Bullet and I'll put the Bullet in the car and just run the Tombstone all day. So when I couldn't, that's why I didn't run this. But I put the servo back in there. The 2.5 in here was also seeming shot to me that day. It was just making a weird noise. So I said, you know what? The rear motor, I took the system out of the rear motor. I didn't deattach anything. I just threw it right in. Now the wires need to stay long. I know they're long. But because in the rear motor, the motor has to go in the back, ESC is up front. So the wire needs to be, I need all of this. I'm not planning on keeping this in here. I want to test it with this. So the last time I was out running this car, this setup in the rear motor, I was doing 194, 195, and I was just starting to turn it up. And then that's when the 3 screws backed out the motor. So now I said, you know what? Let me just throw it in here and see what it does. So that's what I'm going to do. Now I got to just fix a few things. Like for one, I do not like the rod height of this car. Now I don't want to mess with it, but I think I'm going to have to. That just seems ridiculous. Now, I was doing 1.9s with this, but I think I can go way faster if I set up the car better. I think I need to lower the shocks and just make the car better in general. But I didn't want to touch it because it was going so flawlessly, the way it was sitting. But I'm going to do some changes to it, which is just probably lowering it, and then we're going to start off with this. I am going to run foam on this. I've been running air, not these tires, but I've been running air on this car. I'm going to go foam. When I mean foam is a regular foam tire instead of air, a regular drag tire, rubber tire with foam inside. So I'm going to try that out. But right now, I'm leaning towards this to be my main car because I really want to go through the Tombstone and bring it back how I wanted it. Like, I want to put a DRC trans on there. I want everything to be flawless on that car. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. If it goes well at testing, it's going to be back up to the front runner. But right now, I want to focus on this car. So we'll see what happens. All I need to do is get out and test. I might mess with the shocks and lower the car because that just ain't cutting it for me. So we'll see what happens, y'all. Y'all stay tuned for this. The rear motor, I'm not giving up on. I honestly took the shocks off to rebuild the Tombstone chassis. So I got extra shocks that I'll put on there, no worries. I actually didn't even use the shocks. I used another set of shocks, so I'll just throw the shocks I had up there back on and go from there. But we'll see what the Bullet does. Hopefully it does well, so that way I would have at least one car that's consistent that maybe I'll take the chance to go to Florida with. If not, we'll keep pushing. I got a month to test, so we'll keep pushing to see if we... The only thing is our weather is way different from Florida right now. Florida might be in the 80s, 90s, maybe 70s. We're in right now, wake up to 40s and 50s. Then the day will be like 60s, maybe a 70. So we'll see. Still trying to get down there, but we got to get these cars right. So that's the main focus. So y'all stay tuned. I should be testing the tuner. We also have a race coming up this weekend. It's going to be a $50 buy-in. It's pretty much one of our last cash days of the year. So we'll try to make it a big one and go out with a bang, y'all. But stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. And testing tune coming soon. Bullet and Tombstone. All right, YouTube. Quick sneak peek. So move servo more up. Hopefully that works. Everything's turning good. It should be ready to test. I just got to mount the cat pack butter. Other than that, she's ready to go. We'll see today what she does. Well, not today, but we'll see what she does on our next test hour. So stay tuned, y'all. Hopefully she go good. Willy bar and everything's fixed. So stay tuned.